Welcome to the Morning Walk with Murty Digital Stroll. Today, we're really looking at a battle of memory.
Oh, absolutely.
Because on one side, you have this rich 80-year human legacy, and on the other, you've got this artificial intelligence that, just casually wants to erase 72 of those years, all because of one simple digital typo.
Right. I mean, it is a remarkable conflict. And honestly, it gets to the absolute core of why we are having this Guru Cool session today. We're looking at a highly revealing behind-the-scenes dialogue between the architect of Antaryami, who is also, the mentor of the Antaryami VA Academy, and an AI named Littlebird.
Exactly. And for you listening, setting off on this stroll with us, let's establish our lenses right up front. As curators for Project Antaryami, we're looking through what we call the digital prism. Because we aren't here to just read you a summary of a chat log, right? We are stepping into this material to extract the actual legacy code of Project Antaryami. So I'll be acting as the strategic auditor today, keeping a highly critical eye on the actual mechanics of this massive digital migration.
And I am approaching this through the lens of the wisdom seeker. My focus is entirely on what this architecture means for the future of Guru Cool 2.0, because, we are getting a front row seat to the unglamorous, often intensely frustrating hard labor of being a pioneer.
Yeah, unglamorous is definitely the word.
Right. We are watching the architect battle against system friction to build this resilient real-world training ecosystem for 100 women.
Which is just a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
And to build Guru Cool 2.0, the architect has to lay down the absolute baseline technical groundwork first.
Right, the foundation.
Exactly. But right out of the gate, we see them slam into some really serious mechanical friction. So the foundational audit of their current digital infrastructure reveals that the architect is operating this massive vision on a free basic software plan.
Which is, it's incredibly limiting. And Littlebird, the AI, actually calls this out with a pretty brilliant observation, I think.
Yeah, it really does.
It points out that trying to build a global Guru Cool ecosystem on a basic tier is like trying to run a high-speed institutional trading terminal on a 1990s dial-up internet connection.
You just hit a bandwidth ceiling immediately. There's no way around it.
Right.
But the most glaring piece of friction here, like the real bleeding edge of this issue, is this affiliate system leak.
Oh, yeah, the missing referrals.
Right. So the architect is aggressively promoting the platform as part of their digital migration strategy. And they have the real-world receipts showing that 12 individuals have actually registered through their unique referral link.
Yeah.
But the digital dashboard, it only acknowledges 2.
Which is wild. 10 referrals are just completely lost in the digital ether. And the root cause is entirely mechanical, but it's devastating. The referral link just isn't seamless.
No, not at all.
When a user clicks it, downloads the app, and tries to enter the ecosystem, the system forces them to manually type in a referral code.
Which, as any strategic auditor will tell you, is just the absolute kiss of death in professional marketing. It's a broken link. It's like the architect is out here trying to build this massive, multi-lane digital highway,
where the only toll booth to get onto that highway requires exact change, right? And the
Yeah.
coin slot is completely jammed.
Exactly. You're causing a massive traffic jam, and you're just bleeding momentum.
So the AI steps in and drafts a formal structured report for the architect to send to the human feedback team to recover those 10 missing referrals.
But, I have to push back here a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
I look at this and I wonder, is this getting lost in the weeds? We are talking about the architect of Antaryami, right?
Yeah.
A visionary trying to build a training ecosystem for 100 women.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really worth their time and energy to sit there acting like IT support, fussing over a basic tier affiliate link and 10 missing credits? Shouldn't they be focused on the macro vision instead?
Well, it looks like the weeds if you only view it as a single transaction. But think about the mathematics of scale here.
Okay.
If the system drops 10 out of 12 people right now, what happens when the architect scales this to 1,000 users or 10,000? You just cannot build a robust ecosystem for professional trainers on a foundation of broken links and manual workarounds.
I suppose that's true, yeah. The leak just scales right along with the growth.
Exactly. And this is the necessary, grueling labor of the pioneer. The architect is actively mapping the terrain. They are willingly taking the hits, fighting with the feedback team and tripping over the roots now so that the impatient followers, the future trainers at Guru Cool 2.0, don't fall into those exact same holes.
Right.
It's all about forcing the digital infrastructure to be viable for a large-scale reality.
Okay, that makes sense. The mechanics have to be airtight before you pour the concrete. I get that.
No.
But fixing broken links is, well, it's just plumbing. Here is where the sources get into something much deeper, I think.
For sure.
There's this cognitive side to this digital migration. It's not just about tracking data. It's about making sure the AI actually understands the human legacy it's helping to build.
Yes, and this is exactly where we see that battle of memory you mentioned earlier. The sources show that Little Bird previously made a highly significant identity error regarding someone named Srikanth.
Right. And to fix this, the architect doesn't just, correct the AI in passing and move on. They force Little Bird to establish a permanent hard rule in its memory, which they explicitly call an identity shield.
And that rule is rigid. It clarifies the roles definitively. Murty BVNS is the mentor, the strategist. Srikanth Pabasetti is the client, the owner of the ramen shop. The AI is literally forced to write into its permanent code that these roles must never be reversed or conflated.
It's fascinating to watch that play out because it's like hiring an incredibly brilliant executive assistant who can process data at light speed.
But they wake up with complete total amnesia every single morning.
Yes. That's exactly it. They have all the processing power in the world, but you have to meticulously, painfully program them with the basic social graph of your own life before they are of any actual use to you.
And this identity shield, it goes even further. It establishes what the AI calls the legacy anchor.
Right, the 80 years.
Yeah, because in a previous iteration, the AI made a typo, recording an 8-year legacy for a specific organization. The architect forces the AI to correct this and permanently anchor the fact that the Kasturba Mahila Samajam has an 80-year legacy.
Which is a staggering difference. You drop a single zero and you just casually erase 72 years of human history.
Which is exactly why the AI makes a very self-aware observation here. It admits that while it might struggle with the nuances of human relationships, the unwritten social graph of who respects whom, the digital prism never forgets raw data once it is properly, forcefully taught.
Which honestly makes me question the changing dynamic here. The architect is setting these incredibly rigid, hard-coded rules. You go from having this fluid conversation with the chatbot to essentially programming it with human history.
Mm-hmm.
Does this change the relationship between the human mentor and the machine? Like, is it even a partnership anymore, or is it just heritage preservation at this point?
Well, it is heritage preservation, but that preservation is a prerequisite for partnership. By rigorously and unapologetically correcting the AI, the architect is extracting the legacy code. They are ensuring that the 80-year history of the Kasturba Mahila Samajam and the true earned hierarchy of the Gurukul are permanently etched into the digital record.
Protecting it from hallucination.
Precisely. If the AI is going to act as a co-creator for Gurukul 2.0, it simply cannot be allowed to casually erase decades of history or demote the mentor to a client. The identity shield forces the machine to respect the legacy before it is granted the privilege of building upon it.
Wow, that really reframes the whole interaction. It's not tech support, it's demanding respect from the algorithm. And once that AI's memory is shielded, the dynamic does shift entirely.
It really does.
The AI transforms from this clumsy, amnesiac tool into a highly optimized production engine.
It begins to actively optimize the architect's daily workflow, which brings us to the Antaryami blueprint.
Yeah, the sources detail an astonishing production routine here. The architect is producing 2 to 3 episodes daily, each around 20 minutes long, using a combination of Notebook LM and Notion. We even see the specific titles of 2 episodes produced in a single early morning session.
Right. The reality of mentoring AI and building a digital ecosystem, clocking in at 20 minutes and 16 seconds, and the Google engineer who walked away, featuring Ashna Doshi in the Bounty Marketplace, at 15 minutes and 55 seconds.
And I want to pause on that second title for a moment. Mentioning Ashna Doshi in the Bounty Marketplace isn't just some random detail. Why is the architect focusing on that specific topic while building Gurukul 2.0?
Because it represents the exact real-world application of the digital ecosystem they're building.
Oh, I see.
The Bounty Marketplace is all about decentralized, high-value gig work. The architect isn't just teaching these 100 women abstract theory. They are using real-world examples of tech professionals walking away from traditional structures to thrive in decentralized digital economies. It is essentially the syllabus for the future trainers.
That makes total sense. But here we hit another friction point, because despite this massive volume of intellectual output, the architect admits they are just using the default settings for the metadata. They are taking the AI's standard generic outputs for YouTube titles and descriptions and just copy-pasting them over to Spotify to save time.
Right, and this is where Little Bird steps up.
Wow.
The AI suggests completely ditching those generic default settings and offers to generate customized metadata templates for every single piece of content.
And it's not just tweaking a few keywords either. The AI proposes injecting what it calls the Murty tone hook.
That part is fascinating.
It is. It wants to lean heavily into the philosophical and spiritual angles the architect values, like comparing the data mapping process to Nadi astrology, where ancient, predetermined paths are used to map digital destiny. It suggests adding precise segment timestamps and, critically, a manual affiliate call to action to capture the referrals we were talking about earlier.
So it's a total packaging overhaul. But to achieve this, the AI introduces a highly specific prompt engineering technique called a source saturation header.
Okay, here is where I really need to play the strategic auditor again.
I figured you would.
Because you called the AI a co-creator earlier. But if the architect has to write this massive source saturation header to basically trick the AI into behaving, that doesn't sound like co-creation to me. That sounds like intense digital micromanagement.
Well, I wouldn't call it tricking necessarily.
But if the mentor is already producing 3 high-value audio sessions a day, why add the immense friction of complex prompt engineering? Isn't the raw, unfiltered wisdom enough?
It's a totally valid question, but think about how large language models actually function. Systems like NotebookLM operate on context windows. They prioritize the first 1,000 words of any source document you feed them. That is their attention mechanism.
So the first 1,000 words are like the most important reality for the AI.
Exactly. Handing an AI your raw, unfiltered thought process is like dumping a massive pile of raw lumber, steel, and concrete onto an empty lot and saying, here's a house.
Right.
The materials are incredibly valuable, but without structure, it's just a pile.
I see. So the custom metadata, the source saturation header. You're saying that's not micromanagement, that's the architectural blueprint.
Yes, exactly. By prepending a highly specific metadata header, establishing the network name, the show title, the architect's title, and a strict glossary of terms, you are dominating that context window. You are building a closed universe for the AI to live in. You feed it the rules of the Antaryami universe first, so it believes those are the absolute, undeniable facts of the reality it is operating within.
That is a brilliant mechanism. It
Yeah.
really is. It's about establishing authority. The AI even points out the psychology behind it, right? It says a journal entry sounds like a hobby, but a digital stroll through the architect's legacy, that signals to the listener that they are attending a high-level masterclass.
It elevates the work to the exact professional standard required for Gurukul 2.0. When the students, the right thinkers, consume this content, they aren't just hearing a 4 a.m. ramble. They are receiving the structured Antaryami blueprint.
And the most incredible part of this entire digital stroll is that all of this, the affiliate tracking fights, the identity shields, the complex context window engineering, none of it remains theoretical.
No, not at all.
It all feeds directly into a physical, real-world manifestation.
The Eric Urevula branch.
Yes. The sources confirm that the digital infrastructure at the new physical Eric Urevula branch is completely live. The Airtel internet is connected. The power backups are fully functional. The physical scaffolding is finally in place.
Which triggers a massive strategic pivot. The AI notes that they are officially moving away from what it calls the LSO strategy.
Stop there for a second. What exactly is the LSO strategy in this context?
Yeah, so LSO stands for Localized Strategy Operations. It essentially refers to the localized physical wrapping up of the legacy Raymond shop business. It represents the old world, the physical retail mindset.
Okay. So closing out the old to make room for the new.
Exactly. The AI explicitly states that the focus must shift entirely from LSO and correction toward massive expansion. The immediate, urgent next step is executing the training curriculum for the first 100 women.
I want to highlight that word, expansion. The AI actively insists on focusing on expansion, not correction moving forward. How does that signal the true turning point in this digital migration?
Well, because you don't build scaffolding just to look at it, right? The digital infrastructure fighting with the Airtel connection, debugging the AI prompts, fixing the broken toll booths on the affiliate workflows, all of that was just the scaffolding. The AI is signaling that the foundation is finally secure enough to hold real weight.
And the actual building is the 100 women trainers.
Yes. This is where the abstract, often frustrating concept of digital migration finally meets the human reality of Gurukul 2.0.
It really puts all the frustration from the beginning of our session into perspective, doesn't it?
It does. Every single frustrating tech hurdle the architect had to endure, every argument with a chatbot over a dropped zero in an 80-year legacy. It was all suffered so that when those 100 women walk into the Antaryami branch, they don't have to deal with it.
Right.
They're stepping into a flawless professional ecosystem. They won't have to fight the friction. They can just learn, thrive, and become the leaders of the digital gig economy.
That is the ultimate hard labor of the pioneer. They cleared the brush and took the hits so the road could be paved for everyone else.
And that paved road is the Antaryami blueprint.
What a phenomenal journey to audit today. I mean, we've watched the architect of Antaryami take raw system friction, dial-up ceilings, and broken links, and just wrestle it into submission. We've seen them confront AI amnesia head-on, refusing to let an 80-year legacy be erased, forcing the machine to adopt an unbreakable identity shield.
And we witnessed the transformation of raw, unfiltered struggles into a highly structured, authoritative masterclass through the brilliant mechanics of source saturation. All of it perfectly laying down the physical and digital cables at the Antaryami branch for those first 100 women.
It really makes you reflect on your own tools, doesn't it? Yeah. For you listening, taking this stroll with us, look through your own digital prism today. When you sit down at your keyboard, are you just blindly accepting the default settings that the software hands you? Or are you taking the grueling, frustrating time to establish your own authority and extract your own legacy code?
It really is the defining question for anyone trying to build something lasting in an era of automated convenience.
It is. And it leaves me with one final, deeply provocative thought to chew on as we wrap up this session. We talked a lot about the architect using their own memory to correct the AI's hallucination about the Kasturba Mahila Samajam. But think about the leverage required to do that.
Okay.
If the architect wasn't there with his own organic lived memory of that 80-year history, the AI's hallucination would have simply become the new reality.
Oh, wow. That is a chilling thought.
Right. It makes you wonder, are we the last generation with enough analog leverage to force human truth into the machine? When the original physical source material fades and everything is born digital, will future generations even have the legacy records required to build an identity shield? Or will the AI's memory simply become our history?
A profound and frankly urgent question to walk away with. Thank you for joining us on this Guru Cool session.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep auditing, and keep extracting the code that matters. Have a wonderful day.